Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So, in today's video, I wanted to kind of talk with you guys about like some goals that I have and what's been going on, and maybe for you guys to get to know me a little bit. So, let's jump in. So for those of you who may be asking, that is peeled paint. There's nothing wrong with our ceiling. It's all good. I never know if someone's going to ask, so just put that out there. So right now I am harvesting some parsley, and I am going to dry this. There's many ways to dry parsley. You could dry it naturally by air with no heat or anything. Just set it by a window and turn it every few days. You could also use a dehydrator, and with the dehydrating, with like in general, if you have a air fryer. So I have an air fryer, and it has a setting for dehydrate. I tried it last year. It's not a fan. It dehydrated nicely. However, the fan is still going, so I lost half of my parsley because it was stuck in the fan. Once it dried, it made its way up there. So what I do is I set my oven to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, and we just let that dry. Now, I'm sure I could probably go a little bit lower, but my air fryer was set at 190, so that's kind of what I was used to drying herbs with. Basil as well. But, okay, so a little bit about me now. Kind of got sidetracked with the parsley, so kind of just quit talking to the camera and focused on the parsley. So I work two jobs. My first job and my main source of income is I am an independent cosmetologist. I have done hair for roughly 5 years, give or take. I became self-employed in October of 2019. I rent my station in a salon, and I pay rent once a week, and everything is up to me. The second job that I have, so I started a candle business in January of this year. To be exact, January 11th is when I launched my business. And it was something new. Didn't really know, but I did it because an article had popped up, saying, are the candles in your household toxic? And I have an entire closet in my house dedicated to candles and wax melts and everything. And that's not stuff that I've made, that's stuff that I bought. And it had explained like all the toxins that are in candles and different waxes and all of that. And a lot of them are actually very harmful to your health once you add flame to them. So wax melts aren't really much of an issue as to the candles themselves when you put a flame to the wax. So I was determined I was going to make a clean burning candle with no harmful ingredients. And my candles are made of coconut wax, which have a long burn time, much longer than like paraffin or soy, so I have that, and they're wooden wick, and I will leave the website down below. And my order, I can't talk today. My order just came in today of jars. I ordered about 100 jars, and I'm actually really excited because now I can finally get my spring and summer scents out. I've waited 2 months for these jars. They're finally here. And I can also restock on the ones that I'm out of on my website. So if you guys wanted to go check that out, I'll leave the website down below. And I will tell you, my favorite is sweet caramel cream. However, I am out of that one right now. That is one I have to restock. But yeah, so that is what I do for a living. Some goals that I have. So I guess for short-term goals, I really can't speak today. Short-term is like with this year alone, so I have extended my garden. I have I have five-gallon buckets. I have two huge pots that I can grow in. I have my kiddie pool, which strawberries are supposed to come back in, and I have not seen a single strawberry plant come back. My hanging strawberry plant that I have, that has already come back. So I think I'm gonna have to replant all new strawberries this year, which I will just buy starts. I don't have time for seeds, which is okay. I thought they were gonna come back, and there's no sign of life, so it's all good. And then, so the other day I just bought a horse trough, and I'll have to show you guys, but I'm super, super excited because last year I had said I wanted to get a horse trough to use as a raised garden bed. So, and then once I priced everything out, I'm like, oh, that's going to be really expensive. But with the price of lumber that has gone up, and for the size that I want, it would be cheaper to buy a horse trough. So, that is what I did. So my goal this year is to really just grow as much as I possibly can, fill all the spaces, don't have any leftover room, and just truly see the potential that I could do with the small space that I have. And I encourage all of you, especially if you do have a small space like I do everything that you can and don't give up. Don't use that as an excuse that you can't do something. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And you can't say you don't have time. I work 2 jobs. We can make time. And it's all good. And it's kind of relaxing. It stresses me out a little bit, but it's a little relaxing. So that is my goal this year. And then, of course, with the ducklings coming, to make sure they all stay alive and no one dies, and really see how many eggs I can get in a year. Like, I'm very, very curious. What can I get in a year? Now, I know with the ducklings, I'm not going to get as many as what I would like, just because they're new and they're just ducklings. So this will be their first year, and it'll be early to mid-fall before I will get eggs from the ducklings. So right now, I'm not really focused on that. My one female is doing very well of giving eggs at the moment, getting about 1 or 2 a day, mostly 1. But I'm very excited for that. And those are about like all my short-term goals, at least that pertain to homesteading or farming, whatever you want to call it. Long-term goal, I cannot talk. Long-term, so I want to move down south. I do not like living here in West Virginia. I've lived here just about all of my life. Lived in PA for a hot minute, not long. And then the rest of my life, I've always been in West Virginia. And quite frankly, I'm kind of over it. So I've wanted to move down south since I was 8 years old. And at the time, it was downstate West Virginia. I didn't know anything at 8 years old about moving or even anything about downstate West Virginia. And as I've gotten older, I still kept that dream. And now, I don't want to be in West Virginia. They're trying to raise our taxes, and I already get hit hard with taxes because I'm self-employed. And I just don't want to live. I don't want to live in West Virginia. I want to go south. I have looked at Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, the Carolinas. I've looked at just about all the southern states. Now, I will tell you, what freaks me out the most is tornadoes. And just about every single southern state is in Dixie Alley, which terrifies me completely. But, I guess that's the price that I pay to move down south for warmer weather. I have to deal with a little bit more natural disasters, possibly. I know it's not a guarantee, but I know it's most likely may happen, which scares me. Because I don't want to work so hard for everything I've wanted for so long just to lose it. in one night from a natural disaster. That terrifies me. But I don't want to live in fear because, you know, if I lose everything, obviously God has a reason for that. So it's all good. But I'm probably not going to be able to move south for like 4 or 5 years, just because I want to save up money. Preferably, I really don't want a mortgage. But I don't know. You know, obviously, 4 or 5 years is a long time to figure out what to do, where to go, and everything else. And options too. I mean, a lot could also change in the housing market in 4 or 5 years. But that is a goal that I have. The other goal when we move is I want to have a full-fledged farm. I want to have, you know, goats and more ducks and chickens and turkeys and, you know, just everything. I want a farm. I don't want a commercial farm, but I want like a decent sized farm. But I also want a lot of land. And part of my goal is I do not want to have to wait for a house to be built. I don't want to move on raw land and start fresh. Partially because I'm a very impatient person. So, yeah. But that is a goal of mine, and those are two of the biggest goals that I have actually been pushing towards and, you know, trying to get out of debt and, you know, really figuring out a place where I would maybe want to move, because once I move, I don't want to move again. I really don't. Moved a lot when I was younger, moved a lot as a teenager, and no. So, like, once I move, like, I'm done. So I want to make sure that wherever I eventually move to, it feels right. And I have that time. Yeah, I mean, those are like the major goals that I'm focused on. And yeah. So in the comments down below, tell me what your goals are. Long-term, short-term, life goals, or, you know, homesteading goals, farming goals, whatever. Leave it down in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for sticking around if you've made it this far. Don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, follow, and I will leave the candle website down below. But I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.